let's call on our next guest, András Simonyi, the former Hungarian ambassador to the U.S. András, you heard Bill Richardson there. Do you agree with his assessment that this report will damage U.S. prestige abroad?
One should not exaggerate. I want to make it very clear that I personally think it's a sign of health that the United States is having this discussion. It will perhaps infuriate some, but the bottom line is that this is just another, if you want, another sign of unfortunately growing anti-American sentiments globally, which I find a really dangerous thing. I would think that most Europeans will say, well, this is really terrible, this is bad, but it's a very strong sign of health of democracy that you can have this conversation in the U.S. Congress.
So, András, an ambassador is really the personal and governmental representative of a nation to another government. You served in that role for Hungary. I'm wondering, in terms of personal diplomacy, in terms of day-to-day operations, will the release of the report and the reaction you talk about, the anti-American reaction, how much more difficult would that make a job for a U.S. ambassador anywhere around the world to move forward diplomatically and work constructively with the host governments?
Well, it's good you mentioned the host government. I don't think within the alliance with allied nations in Australia and elsewhere the relationship will be damaged severely, but perhaps there has to be more efforts made towards the public to explain what this is about. And I think it's important to do some damage control, but one should not exaggerate the impact in countries that are friendly to the United States. Of course, in countries where the population is inclined to be anti-American, it will have a negative effect. I would believe. Let me say one thing. When I served here as an ambassador between 2002 and 2007, and I was very closely observing the terrible damage that 9/11 did to the American psyche. So I would say that what happened at that time and what happened with the interrogations, I would suggest we put it in perspective. Not that I agree with the practice, but we do have to put it in perspective.
The context of that post-9/11 era. There you are at Johns Hopkins now. I'm wondering if you can set up for us a little laboratory. Let's say something transpired involving Hungary that was less than complimentary or regarded adversely internationally. In your role as the Hungarian ambassador to the United States, what would you have done to try and make sure that the rift did not become greater between Hungary and the United States? I know we're dealing with hypotheticals, but I'm just interested in that kind of personal checklist you might go through in terms of diplomacy.
Trust me, I had to go through this as the Hungarian ambassador, so I perhaps can offer that I would definitely intensify my contacts not only to the host nation government, but also to lawmakers and also to the greater public. I would definitely try and put myself out to the media in the broadest sense of the word. I wouldn't start writing letters of explanation. What I would put it in a human context, and I think I would use all the personal contacts that I have to ask for support and help to explain what it is about. This is, this is a moment when friends of America have to reach out to America and help out. That is really what I would appeal to. Friends of Hungary, please help us explain now and help us get over this difficult moment,
and
which
András,
I trust is a passing moment.
András, you can help us some more because there are some stories out there we need to talk about with you and get your help from an international perspective. So stay right there, and you stay right there too. Come on back as America's Forum continues.